cues, and they're coming your way right after the break.
The top 10 for the HQ Hoedown here at Mount Panorama. Laurie Gatt starts out of pole position alongside Tim Dombrain. John Watmo out of position number 3. John Meyer out of 4. And Paul Axiak starts out of position number 5. Wayne Spruitson starts out of 6. Keith Davidson from 7. Lovely Leslie Ann Johnson out of position number 8. Carl Troffer out of 9. And rounding out the 10, it's Michael Hickey. Not too long before we have the field underway. A huge field here, as I've just remarked. They are all the way down the front straight here, and we've got 10 seconds to go. The first corner will be interesting, but the arrival at the top of the mountain will be even more interesting.
Here it is, the waltz of the ex-Cavs.
Phil Harrison, an old buddy of ours, out of position number 52. They're off and racing. Heat number 1 of the HQ Holdens having their reappearance here at Mount Panorama Bathurst. They go to the first turn. Oh, they're into car wars already. A little bit of a bump going through there, but they all managed to get through the first left-hander and head up Mountain Straight for the first time. And I don't really like the chances of the man who'll be starting dead last in this out of position number 57.
Well, the Holden fans on top of the mountain can be pretty confident we'll have a Holden win here. 55 cars coming up the hill. Look at that, the big traffic jam up Mountain Straight for the first time. Big gap in qualifying for Larry Gatt and Tim Dombrain. 2 seconds they had on the rest of the field, so they've found the demon tweak, Doug.
I believe under the rules of the formula, we're looking at 115 horsepower, but somebody's obviously screwed another couple of horsepower, given that we have a difference of, well, 3:04, the fastest qualifying time in this particular heat, and 3:28 for Craig Strong, who's starting at the back of the field.
So they squeeze up side by side. There's one who didn't make it even to the first corner. Car 20 in trouble.
Well, John Meyer is the man scraping the BP off the fence as they head up to the top of the mountain for the first time. They're all out of the cutting now, up to the kink to the right-hander. And a big crowd here, overcast conditions, as we've made mention, at Mount Panorama Bathurst. The crowd in good spirit. They've been in good spirit up here for about 4 days.
Spirit being the operative word.
Absolutely.
Fabulous sight as they scream across the top of the mountain for the first of 4 laps. All in a row. As Doug alluded to before. Oh, they've lost one there, getting out of shape across the top of Skyline. I'd hate to see the end result of that.
I think he's firmly entrenched in the sand by now.
44 going through as they down through the dipper. Some big gaps opening there, even in the first 3 quarters of the opening lap. 44.
There's the end result.
That's the car that didn't make it.
Alex Saliba from Victoria. And there's one on its roof.
84 that is wound upside down. I think this will bring the flags out at the top of Mount Panorama this morning.
Yes, it's quite an unfortunate situation in this formula, the HQ formula, when the pace car comes out on the track, because many of these cars can't keep up with the pace car.
Well, here's one of the boys that number 110.
Peter Scotcher was the unfortunate man who went over on his lid.
Let's have a look. We caught this with 44. I think it was the one that got out of shape. Ooh. Whammo.
Win Percy can tell you all about that.
Now, there's cars still coming from behind. He's sliding across the racetrack. We'll look for what happened to Scotcher as they all went single file to try and squeeze between the concrete wall there and the back of 44. They've all done a pretty fair job too.
Keep an eye out for Peter Scotcher. Someone got in trouble here.
No, I didn't actually see that, but here's another angle. 106 going through and looking for Scotcher's car. One gets the tail up here on the wall. The tyres have gone, and there is Scotcher. He's caught the edge of the tyres just near the concrete wall, and 110 comes in and parks in the sand trap. The HQ Holden, take 2.
Ready for the restart. We've lost car 44, Alex Saliba, car 71, Steve Ings, and car 84, Peter Scotcher.
Will they be able to get through 3 laps without another incident? Lights ready to turn to green, and away they go. 85 almost stalls on the line.
It has stalled on the line.
Tim Dombrain, and they go either side of Dombrain's car. He's got the hand out the window signalling to them. anywhere but here. Now he picks up another gear.
Well, the time some of those back markers reach him, they'll have a bit of speed on board.
He's underway.
Oh.
That was not the start he wanted. Laurie Gatt looking to take over the lead as they go through the first turn and work their way up Mountain Straight. Heading up to the right-hander. Hasn't slowed them down any. That wild charge across the top of the hill here.
Here they come.
Beneath the MasterCard Bridge and downhill. Try to build up speed all the time because now the climb to the top of the mountain starts.
Well, they're really pushing it up the hill. This part of the circuit very, very hard on the HQs. They're averaging speeds of around 115 kilometres an hour. And compare that to the tourists, which are doing about 180 kilometres an hour. Gives you some idea of the speeds around here.
But there are a lot more cars, Mark.
There certainly is. They swing up into the cutting for the first time. Side by side, there's not a lot of room. This track very, very narrow. And these boys will be very much aware of that. Some of them going 3 deep into the cutting. Look at them squeezing for position.
There's only one fast lane out of that cutting, though, and that's on the inside. You move out offline there, there's probably 10 or 15 are going to nobble you before the next turn. Maybe Laurie Gatt has been able to hold that lead as we go to the mountain for the first time. They streak through here on the way down to Skyline.
Let's see how they handle the foam and petrol left from the earlier incident.
Across here, this is where it all started. Little bit of cement dust, as you can see through there, sending up a bit of a smoke screen. Now the run towards the dipper. So the majority of them across Skyline without an incident.
Oh, you hear the tyres screaming, they're getting sideways.
I think we just had somebody have a lose just out of picture. No,
he managed to gather it up.
Yes, he caught it again. Leader getting away from them, heading down to Forest Elbow, the left-hander. So they've done very well in the second time around.
We've almost got a complete lap. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch. Remarkable things to drive. I had the opportunity to drive one of these at Eastern Creek not so long back. And with wider tyres and stiffer suspension, they actually do handle half well. Double shuffling the column shift back to second can be a bit of a nightmare for a race car, but they don't do a bad job for an ancient Holden, which was built really as a people's mobile, not as a race car.
I don't know how come there are just so many of them still available.
There mustn't be one left in a wrecker's yard anywhere in Australia. These guys are always in there scavenging for spare parts.
There's the gap from our leader back to second. Now, there's going to be another spin or an incident. You have the feeling Caltech's chase or the approach shot might just be it. There he goes.
There it goes.
On cue.
HQ.
They're not making an impression on the leader, though, Mark. John Meyer.
Look at this.
Car
big challenge under brakes, the Premier.
Car 55, where are you? He's out of sight, which is pretty remarkable given the similarity of specification.
Yeah, nothing fancy about these old Holdens. The old 202 cubic inch Holden red motor, as Doug said before, a 3-speed transmission. Look at this. Gatt's got him under brakes. Those twin headlight jobs are worth about half a second around here, Doug.
Absolutely.
We'll see where they close up on him now as they head up the mountain. 109 hasn't made it through that turn.
Glenn Robinson.
Glenn's out. And the quick machine isn't so quick, yes. Green lights on there on pit lane, but the car is pulled up.
One out and one back for Wayne Sproston. He was holding second place there, but he's been cleaned up in the straight line drag. Once under brakes by Larry Gatt. Now Watmore squeezed through too on the run up the mountain. The final chance now for Sproston to get back to that position he held. He has a look up the inside. There's not a lot of real estate there, fella.
He's having his options cut off too. They're being trimmed. There's going to be a tight here, but he's actually got the line to the BP cutting. And he goes through there. But loses the advantage of... yeah, that's it. Just put the...
They're more than leaning on each other here. Watmore gets squeezed for space, puts 2 inside wheels up on the ripple strips, but he's still hanging in there. Still side by side. They've been this way for almost half a lap.
Will get unbalanced here. No, they're both of them are side by side through here. Sproston, though, goes through, picks up that advantage as they come to Skyline for the run across here. The idea is not to get the tail of the car out on the ripple strip there because it brings the front round and you're pointing straight towards a tough bit of concrete wall up there.
Great shot from the 7 chopper. as we follow the HQs down, barreling down the mountain.
Despite the incident that we saw on the opening lap, been fairly good in the restart to this race.
So Meyer, and look at Larry Gatt. This is the guy, yeah, he was on pole and he's showing the speed he showed in qualifying. He's hauled Meyer in.
This is his last chance. Final run down Conrod. Larry Gatt starting to make an impression.
He's going to have to be very, very brave on the anchors if he's going to take him through Caltech's chase. It's a lapped car, locks up.
Well, just a bit of grass there. The Johnson Industrial entry, car number 20, the exit to that turn. So we'll wait on not only the leader, John Meyer. Here comes Meyer now, I think.
Meyer at the top of screen.
Gatt has closed the gap. They're nose to tail coming down.
So here we go. Let's see what Larry Gatt can do under brakes. His last chance. He's closing on him rapidly.
Don't think he'll do it. But he's got about 20 Ks up his sleeve as they make the exit through there. Checkered flag comes out, and it's John Meyer that will get across the line.
They were level pegging for third there too. Just to see the result of those two. There wouldn't have been a bumper in that.
Well done, John Meyer. Getting a big cheer from the folks here at Mount Panorama today. Got away smartly in the restart. Didn't have a lot of pressure on him until Gatt arrived with about one corner and 100 metres to go.
Yes, I think Larry Gatt was held up in that battle with Watmow earlier. He was behind the other two cars, and it's probably cruelled the pole sitters' chances of winning this prestigious event.
Well, let's check them out for you on our Caltex race score. John Meyer, the winner in car number 55. Laurie Gatt, a fine drive in car number 11, places second. John Watmow in 36 third. Wayne Sproston finishes in fourth in 116, and Paul Axiak in 66 rounds out the five.